witches. This is obviously another spirit summoning video. This is after the new change in policy, but this is not the person. This spirit does not belong to the person that I was complaining about. I've put that person on block, and I don't deal with that person anymore. And there were some of you that I hope did not think that it pertained to you. I did get a lot of responses from some very, very good clients and people that I consider, you know, part of the Willow family, and it did not have anything to do with you. It was a very specific story of a very specific individual, and if that was not your story, it was not about you. You know, some of you were really panicked, and you were like, "Oh God, you know, is that me?" You know, and no. I'm not sweating anything. You know, because the people that got back to me and they were like, "Oh, you know, I'm so sorry, I forgot this or that." I wasn't sweating that. I wasn't. You're good to me. You take care of me. I mean, you guys have gone on to the support the witch, and you've helped me. You know, it's helped pay some of my bills, and it's helped cover like some of dog's meds and stuff like that. You guys are really, really good to me, and so no, I wasn't sweating you guys. It was one specific person, and it was one specific situation. So don't worry about that. I wasn't, you know, popping off because it was like everybody, you know. So if you still have like feelings that, oh, you know, crap, I forgot. No, don't worry. I'm not sweating that. So with that said, let's get on to the reason why you're here, because you want to watch summoning a spirit. So this spirit, this is the picture of the spirit right here. And so I got some initial impressions. First of all, this spirit does not speak English at all. So I will have to go through my interpreter, Simon. Simon speaks every language in the world. Simon is very, very old. He's actually ancient Egyptian. Simon is not his real name. It is the name he chose for himself. Simon, I believe it's Greek and Latin, Greek. Simon actually means wise, and that is the name that he chose for himself to be referred to. But he is ancient Egyptian, and he has spent millennia going through the world and learning different things, and Simon's a very complex individual, but he is also my most trusted interpreter, because he's not going to put words in somebody's mouth. So with Simon's aid, I am going to speak to this spirit. Of course, as you know, I never say the name of the spirit anywhere else. My spirits I'm not really worried about, because my spirits are protected against being summoned away by a spell. But when it pertains to somebody else's spirits, if they did not purchase that spirit from me, well, I should say the spirit doll, you can't own another human being. But if you did not purchase that spirit doll from me, they are not protected by that spell, so therefore I do not say their name. So with that being said, we are going to start speaking with this spirit. It is a female, and I just want to find out, is the name that I was told for you, is that really your name? That is not her name, and I did not think it was, because this spirit is actually from Iceland, and that name is not like Nordic. It's not of any Norse descent. So let me ask. Okay, so it does start with an S. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, for the person that owns this spirit's doll, I am going to write it out and put it in an email what her real name is. But right now we're just going to call her S. Okay, so can you tell me about your life when you were born. Oh, she's very old. So, is that AD? It is AD. So I'm hearing the numbers 10. I thought I heard 1039. Is that correct? 1039 AD. And is that the year that you were born? Okay. And now, are you originally from Iceland? Okay. There's something a little different. Can I read your energy? I'm seeing pinks, purples, and yellows. That's her aura color. Her energy is off. It's not like off in a bad way. It's just off in... I don't know if she's human. Because I'm not reading like signature human. And I'm seeing like wood. Like trees, like a forest, like I'm seeing like a forest, but not so much the forest. I'm seeing the wood itself, like the tree trunk itself. And I mean, I know I can ask, but I'm trying to like zero in on this because again, when I encounter certain energies that I don't know what it is, I try to rule this out, this out, this out, because that's how you kind of learn. I have something at the back of my head that I'm thinking it might be. All of a sudden the words Norwegian wood popped into my head. No, we're not going there. I want to say that this is a, oh, I just had it in my head too, and then that stupid Norwegian wood thing. Not a sprite, and not a nymph. What's the word I'm looking for? Not a gnome. It's like a tree spirit, like the soul of a tree, I want to say. But it's like a, I kind of get what it is, but it's like hard to put it into feeling. It's not like the living, it's not like, you know, inside of us we have souls and everything. It's not like the tree has a soul inside of it, but this was part of a tree. Like her energy was like part of a tree. I want to say like she was like a guardian, like a wood guardian, and this is, yeah. Now, what would you call that in your, I mean, okay, like, break it down for Simon so he can kind of, like, find the right word in English for me. What would you kind of be referred to in mythology? Like, because you're familiar with, like, Norse myths and stuff like that, right? So, what would the Norwegian people call you in their myth? Is there a name for you in their myths? There is. Okay. So what would they call you in their myth? So you would be referred to as a sprite. Okay. And you are like a guardian of just woods? Okay. Like wooded areas, parks, and stuff like that. In some ways, sprites work as elementals, but some sprites can be really, unlike elementals. Now, I've gone over some elementals in the past. Elementals do not have any emotions. They do not feel. They simply are, and they simply are there to do a job, and they don't care if you're young, if you're old, if you're a dog, if you're a cat. They don't have mercy, they don't have empathy, they don't have anger, they don't have sadness. They're not friendly, they're not unfriendly. They just are. And they are just there to do a job, and God help you if you get in their way. But sprites, they do have, like, emotions, and they do have feelings, but they're a little... Their priorities, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a sprite's priority is different than a human's priority. And what we think is important, and what we think is necessary, and who we think is important, and who we think is necessary. And sprites can be very mischievous. I'm not saying you, because I get, this sprite is very low-key. And she didn't really, like, fit in. Because, like, other sprites were, like, really, like, high energy, high powered, flit. And they were mischievous, and they were, they like to pull a lot of pranks. This one you would call more of like a bookworm type. She was very quiet. She was always, you would call this one a wallflower. She would always stand back and watch the others. She really wouldn't participate in anything. A lot of the pranks that sprites would pull, she didn't find very funny. She's very low-key. She likes to fly under the radar and keep a very low profile. And I think that was one of the reasons why she was a little reluctant to come down and be summoned by me originally, because she liked being a little bit undercover, you know, that she wasn't so much a human. And that the story that was told about her was definitely not her story, and I kind of felt that it wasn't. When I saw her picture, the doll's picture, I kind of got the feeling that that was not her story at all. And I think she wanted to see, like, what would happen with the others that I have summoned. And this one, honestly, I didn't even really have to do, like, any summoning for her. I basically thought her name, and she was here just like that, just talking to me off camera before I even started this, just talking already. But she's not like the typical sprite, and that's why she's not with them anymore. I think she left, like, her colony to learn more about humans. She was kind of, like, fascinated by humans. She was interested in how they interacted with each other, because it was so different than the sprites and the way they act with one another. Sprites are very, like, individual, independent. They really kind of do their own thing, and sometimes they come together, but it's not like, you know, you have best friends that you go hang out with or something like that. They're part of a community and they know each other, but it's just like they don't have like a big picnic. They don't have family reunions. They don't bond that way like humans do. And she was very interested in what humans, she would see this, you know, communities living, working together, and it was not what sprites did. So she wanted to learn more about them. And she did use disguises, as she calls it. She would, if somebody figured out, you know, because there's psychics, there's seers in every community. If they were not that powerful, she would pretend to be somebody that they knew or you know, and she kept a very low profile. And she has kept that cloak of being a human on up until obviously now, because obviously I can tell what's human, what's not human, what is what's negative, what's positive. I can read auras, I can read energy. I mean, all I had to do was I opened up the picture and I looked at it and I'm like, the story that the seller told you, it doesn't seem right to me. I knew right away she was like from way up north, and I was thinking like Finland, Sweden, you know, I was thinking there, Greenland. I was close. I said Greenland, but apparently she's actually from Iceland. And in case you didn't know, Iceland is kind of a misnomer. Greenland is actually icy, and Iceland is actually greener. I mean, yeah, they're way up north, and they have more, you know, winter than we do, like in North America or England or France, especially Italy, you know. But Iceland actually has more summer than Greenland does. So there are definitely forests in Iceland that do get green. And so she's giving me this energy. She's it's almost like relief that she doesn't have to pretend anymore. And she's actually kind of glad she came down here. That's what she's like giving me, that she's glad she came. Yeah? Yeah, she's glad she came. She was tired of people not really knowing who she was and her story. So basically you've lived among humans for almost 1,000 years at this point. How is it that you've never learned to speak English? She said she never really put in the effort. And that's not what she's telling me, that's what she's telling Simon, and Simon is translating it for me. She never really put in the effort. Is it because you haven't really been in like America or any like English speaking countries for a long time? That's what I thought. She's only been in America for 40 years. She's been traveling the world, different cultures, learning about different cultures and everything. She spent some time in Israel. I get that. She was in Israel for a time. And she spent a while there. And in Italy too. She was in Italy for a while. I want to say around the time of the Renaissance, because there were she was like fascinated with the beautiful artwork that was being created during the Renaissance, and she spent a lot of time there during the Renaissance. She was over in like, she actually went over to Ireland, but like the other like spirits and fairies and stuff like that, they were not very welcoming. So then she went over to Scotland, she didn't really like it there. She didn't like Scotland. And then she kind of traveled down to England, and there was just like all kinds of crazy shit that always happens in England. These civil wars, burning of heretics, burning of witches. I mean, there's always something going on in England, and she's just like, she just left there. She actually went to Norway for a while, because obviously she's not from, she went to Norway for a while. And then she was in, like, Russia and China. You can speak Mongolian. She can speak Mongolian, but she can't speak. She traveled in an idol. She, like, made her home inside of an idol, like a temple idol. And then it... Was this for, like, a Catholic church? That's even better. I love it. I love it. Okay, so apparently this, like, golden, like, I want to say it was almost like a chalice to be put in a church. But it was a church. Oh, she was in Barbados. So there was like this golden, like there was this church in Barbados, and somebody had like commissioned this chalice, and she saw this chalice and she really liked it. And she like attached herself to it, and it got on a ship and it traveled all the way to Barbados, and she was in Barbados for a while. She's saying something about like slavery and the Civil War, and it very much, I think she came to the United States around the time, like the South, around the time of the Civil War, like when it was just starting, and she was appalled by it and she left. But she came back, obviously. She's had a very interesting, so she's traveled like around the world. She knows about a lot of cultures and everything. I mean, obviously she can understand English. She just can't speak it, and I don't. Do sprites have a voice? I knew it! Damn, I'm good! I knew there had to be a reason why she can't speak it. Because 50 years, if you understand English, 50 years in a place, roughly, you should know how to, if you can understand it, you should know how to speak it. And that's what troubled me. I'm like, why can't she speak it? Why can't she? Because sprites don't speak like we do. Okay, so if sprites were to speak, basically what she's saying to me, if sprites were to speak, it would be such like a high-pitched like squeal thing, and that's you wouldn't hear the words, you would just like hear kind of like that sound, because it's such a high-pitched frequency. That's what you would hear. So she she said there's no point in me trying to make words because all you would hear, and that's all you would hear because they have such a high-pitched voice. She can actually speak to me with telepathy, but if you're not telepathic, you're not going to be able to hear her. So that's why she can spell things out on a board, and she can communicate telepathically, because I am getting like a lot from her, like in images and like some words, more than I am from Simon, because I'm actually feeling the feminine coming through, as opposed to, because Simon has like a very deep, it's almost like a very deep energy. So when he says something to me, it's like a male voice, and hers is like a very like soft, you know, energy coming through. So I am getting stuff from her, especially in images, but she can't talk the way you and I can. So that's why she doesn't speak. So that makes sense, because I didn't understand how you could be, I mean, my God, people are here for like a couple of months and they're at least speaking broken English, but this is why. Okay. Good. I learned something new every day. Okay. So now, one of the main things that I was asked to ask you is if you are happy where you are. Yeah. She says it's very calm. She says there's a closeness. She likes where she is, and she is happy. Is there anything else that you want to say, or? Okay, so to the person that owns her doll, she says blessings to you, and she bestows good fortune on your family. She also extends protection to you specifically. She does say that she cares about you very much, because you have shown her, the way she puts it, shown her so much welcome. She said serenity, but I'm not sure. She just said it is standalone one. Okay. Is there anything else? No, that's it. Is there anything that I didn't touch on that you want me to talk about? No. Okay. So are we all done? We're all done. Okay. All right. So that does it for this spirit interview. And I am going to I'm going to try to get on the ball a little bit more. I've been trying to catch up on some craft projects here and like bust some stuff out to try to clean up the place. So I have received some bad news today, and I've like had the day from hell. It started, well, because I work overnight. It started at like 10:30 last night, and it was just everything was going wrong, and I'm like, karma's coming back on me. So, I am going to have to do a karma cleansing tonight, and then at dawn, you do a Even though it's the waning moon, you do a good luck spell. So yeah, the bad news has to pertain to lots of extra work that I was doing to keep afloat, and I'm trying not to tap into my savings, because if I do, then I have nothing to try to move with. So yeah, that was some bad news for the witch. So if you watch my eBay site, we may be having the Witch Willow yard sale very soon to sell off like just about everything, so that I don't have to tap into my savings. I hope when I do the karma reversal, it will kind of mitigate my losses here, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to move. I had to get out of here during summer, because this is what happens every summer. I get poorer and poorer, and here it is summer, and yeah, this shit just hit the fan. So, I think another thing what I'm going to do is, like what I do in the witch boxes, I include, you know, a spell kit. It's like a spell of the month. But, what sets me aside from other ones is that I also include a card for a video on, how to perform the spell. So that way somebody can go back and watch it again and again, just in case they need to see how it's done again. They need to, you know, practice it or whatever before they start doing it. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to start selling my own kits for how to do outside of the boxes on how to do these spells. It's going to be a spell kit, and it's going to have written instructions, and then it's also going to have the accompanying video so you can watch it exactly. Because the witch has to bring in extra money. So I think I might start selling some of my secrets here. So these will be, any kits that I put out, they will come out the month after that witch box, but of course they're going to cost more, than if you bought the witch box. Because if you get the witch box, you know, you get all the goodies that are in the witch box, as well as, the spell or the kit or whatever. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start selling the spell kits, for $15.99 plus shipping, whereas if you got the witch box, it would be $30, and you get like all kinds of goodies and stuff. But the spell kits are going to have like basically what you need, except for, you know, certain things that, you know, like craft tools that you need, like the athames and the cauldrons and stuff. But they'll have all the herbs, they'll have all the they'll have like candles if you need it. If the spell calls for like a little mirror or something, you'll have a little mirror. And it's just like stuff that you would have to have as a witch anyway, like cauldrons, athames, wands, and stuff. That would not be included in it. But I think I'm going to have to start selling those. Selling all my secrets and recipes and stuff. So I can stay solvent and not tap into my savings. And not ruin my credit. So, that is it for this video. Sorry for rambling on at the end. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely give me a thumbs up at the bottom of the video. That helps. The reason it helps is because the more thumbs up, the more notice you get on YouTube, the higher the videos go. And, you know, I was told don't get too caught up on the numbers, but the more people that know about me, the more people that find me, you know, the more successful I become, because I don't want to put advertising on my website. I could make some extra money doing that, but I don't want to do that, because I could be right in the middle of an interview video, and you're just like, you're really into it, and all of a sudden here pops an ad up for gain, and you're like, ah, fuck. No, I don't want to do that. But I do want to help keep spreading the word about what I do and about spirits, and, you know, the more thumbs up you give me, the more notice I get on YouTube, and hopefully the more subscribers and the more people that understand that it doesn't always have to be scary, but you do have to proceed with caution in certain things. And so yeah, if you just, while I'm saying this, if you could just hit that thumbs up, it really helps me a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell button so you know when I upload videos. And definitely swing by the Witchery at www.SalemWillowWitchery. I'm sorry, thesalemwillowwitchery.com. And then you can always find me on Instagram at thesalemwillow, and Facebook.me, and that is the Salem Willow as well. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at salemwillow@yahoo.com. So thanks so much for tuning in again, guys, and I will see you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.